Hey everybody, welcome back to another lesson with remote learning with Mr. Farquhar. Today we are going to be talking about point slope form. And before I talk about what our objectives are, I just want to remind you that previously we were dealing with slope intercept form. And if you'll recall, all we needed to write an equation in slope intercept form was to have the slope m and the y-intercept b. So similar to that for point slope form, which is this formula right here, y minus y1 equals m multiplied by, in parentheses, x minus x1. All we need to write an equation in point slope form is we just need any point on the line, x1, y1, and the slope m. M is still slope. So I think what you'll find is that ultimately this is a little bit easier to use than slope-intercept form because typically we needed to do some work to figure out what the y-intercept was for slope-intercept form. And what you're going to see here is that as long as we have any point on the line, we're going to be able to just directly plug it into this equation here. So we're going to do two skills, or we have two objectives. The first objective is to write an equation in point slope form given a point and a slope. And the second objective is going to be to write that equation in point slope form if we're given 2 points. So for our first objective, we have the example where we are asked to write an equation in point slope form given the point negative 5, 6 and the slope negative 2. So, excuse me, that's not negative 2. The slope is 1/2. The slope m is equal to 1/2. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is we are going to label our point x1, y1. And if you'll remember, this is something we've done before when we've calculated the slope between 2 points, where we had that little formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's kind of the same idea where we're just labeling the point. Now that we have the point labeled, if we take a moment and rewrite this point slope form equation, y minus y1 equals m multiplied by x minus x1, where that's in parentheses. We're simply going to take these various pieces and simply substitute them into the equation, into their corresponding locations. So we have y minus, and our y1 is 6, equals our m, or slope, which in this case is 1/2. In parentheses, we have x minus, right? The minus is part of the formula there. And we are substituting in our x1 here, which is negative 5. And so the one thing we're going to need to be careful about when we do this is observing that if we have this minus negative, what we ultimately are going to do is rewrite that as x plus 5. Because when we subtract a negative number, we're going to rewrite that as addition. We're going to just do one more example with this. All right, so this time we have the point 4, 9 and the slope m of negative 4. So, like I said, we're going to label the point. So step 1, label point. Step 2, plug in information. And those are the only two steps to this particular process. So I think it's a good idea to rewrite the point slope formula. And what I kind of like to do is I like to rewrite everything that's not going to change, and then just go from left to right and say, okay, well, y1 here is my 9. The next thing is m. My m value in this example is -4. And then my x1 is 4. And once we have that information substituted into the formula, we are finished writing the equation in point slope form. That's it for this video, folks. I'm going to post a second video that will address our second objective, which is to write an equation in point slope form given 2 points. And I'll see you soon.